Today I'm in Mesa, Arizona at the brand new factory that just opened up here. What they've got is 150,000 square feet and the ability to build up to 5,000 square feet of prefab homes per week. I got toured around to learn more about how they're building, and what they've got is a 9-step process that takes a steel frame to a finished module that's ready to be delivered to the site. Let's check it out. People have been asking for more videos behind the scenes showing how homes are built, so I jumped at the chance to be able to go to the brand spanking new Connect Homes factory to see everything they've got going on. If you haven't heard of Connect Homes, they're a company I've been following for a few years now, mainly because of the look of their modern prefab homes, but turns out they've got quite a bit more going on than meets the eye, kind of like a calzone. They're building homes in multiple different series and at multiple different price points for multiple different purposes. I was able to see my first Connect home in person at the International Builder Show in Las Vegas back in February, but even that didn't compare to seeing their new factory and learning more about how they're built. And besides, the home they had at the International Builder Show is now at their factory, so it's kind of like a double whammy. I'm not sure if they'll be scheduling more factory tours for the public, but if they do, one of the very cool things about their factory is they actually have 2 of their builds inside, available to view. Not sure if they're a permanent fixture, but they're there now. By now, most people likely know about the residential lines available from Connect. They started with the Design Series, which I'll show the entire build process shortly. Then they added the Pro Series as a more affordable option, but they've also got a Shelter Series, and they had one on site that I was able to check out. This is a closer look at their Shelter Series. This is the Shelter 3, meaning it's made up of 3 individual units. Each unit has a bed, it has storage, it has a toilet, a shower, and a sink. They're designed for comfort, longevity, and privacy, can be used on or off grid, and can be for interim or permanent housing. Cool concept. The Shelter Series comes in 3 different configurations. As I mentioned, this is the Shelter 3. So it's got a bed and a bathroom, but then they've got the Shelter 2 that has a bed, a bathroom, and a kitchen, and the Shelter 4 made up of 4 units that just has 4 separate beds. I should also mention that these can be built in 1, 2, or 3-story configurations and start at $25,000 per unit. As is usually the case, it was so much better to be able to see their shelters in person. Each individual unit in the model at the factory has a bed, storage, and a bathroom with shower, but they can be built without the bathroom, or they can be built as is with a kitchenette. The option to make changes and build to suit is readily available. Speaking of the build, I was able to see every station in their build process and learn how these things are built. What's interesting about their process is every station on their production line is 1 day. The home stays at each station for 1 day and then it's moved on to the next. Each station is 1 day's worth of work. The stations are numbered 1 to 9. However, there are a few substations for a total of 14 total stations, meaning a module can be built in 14 business days. Each module has a structural frame built from steel, but the frame construction is not one of the 9 stations. Station 1 is ceiling and floor framing. Station number 2 is wall framing, and because the steel frame is structural, the walls can be built in sub-assemblies before being installed into the modules. Station 3 is roof framing and exterior sheathing. Station 4 is rough electrical and plumbing installation, which is just a fancy term for the initial install of wiring and piping to the structure. Station 5 is roofing, membrane, and waterproofing. Station 5A is window installation and interior installation. This is where the modules really start to take shape and start looking like something, when the windows and doors are installed. Station 5B is exterior siding. See, once you've got windows, doors, and siding, that's when I'm able to get an idea of what it's going to look like. Maybe you've been able to picture it all along, and that's wonderful, but for me, this is where things really start to look and feel like something. Station 6 is drywall and tile installation, and the drywall is split into 3 substations because of the time required for drying. In Station 6A, they sand the first drywall coat and apply the second. In Station 6B, they sand the second coat and apply a skim coat, and finally at Station 6C, they do the final sand. At Station 7, they paint the interior. At Station 8, the plumbing, electrical, and casework are finished, and finally Station 9 is packing and wrapping. Throughout that process, they have a whopping 608 quality inspections. They don't want to miss anything as these homes are being built. Clearly. The new Connect Homes factory has enough room to build in 2 lines, meaning they would have 2 of each station running side by side, and apparently they were only planning to open one of the lines to start, then introduce the other down the road as needed. You might have noticed that they're currently running both lines, which is a good sign. They must be busy. One of the homes being built while I was there was a C10. As the name suggests, the C10 is made up of 10 modules, will have 3,200 square feet of space over 2 stories, and has 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. For the first time ever on the channel, the customer who ordered that C10 was at the factory. We got to chatting and he was open to answering a few questions about his plans for the home. Here's what he had to say. I was looking around the factory and actually bumped into Jordan, and it turns out he's a Connect Homes customer. So this is the first ever on the channel being able to interview a customer. And I'm curious, how did you decide on Connect Homes with all the other options available?
It's a great question. We spent a lot of time looking at all the prefab companies, including site built with our own GC, and it quickly became apparent to us that Connect Homes is the best answer because they are vertically integrated. They own the entire process from start to finish, and this is my first development project, right? So I'm coming from tech. It's my first time in real estate, so I know a whole lot about design, building and finish and install and all that. So for the fact that Connect Homes can actually own every part of the process was a big, attractive factor for us. And then also the team at Connect Homes is great to work with, and so we're excited to be working with them.
Cool. I forgot to mention, this is actually going to be, we're sitting on a module of your building. It's coming in 10 pieces, is that correct?
Yep.
How did you decide on the C10?
So we honestly wanted to build frankly, a big house.
Right.
So, and the special thing about this project that we're doing, we're actually building the C10 on top of a garage. Okay. So it's going to end up being a 4,000 square foot home with the front entry door and a garage on the ground floor, with staircase coming into the C10. Okay. So it's kind of a unique project. There's a big demand in our town for 4+ bedrooms homes with a lot of entertainment space, and C10 really provided for that. The other exciting about the C10 is the ceiling height, the double height in the living room, which is super special. So super excited to see that come together.
Cool. Now, you mentioned at the beginning you were looking at having a stick-built home done just on site. Yeah. What was the cost comparison when you looked at prefab compared to having it built? And maybe, I don't know if it's been mentioned where you're building.
Yes, so I'm building in Sun Valley, Idaho, which is a ski resort town, very comparable to Vail, Aspen, Tahoe, etc. And if you're from one of those areas, super expensive to build, especially because of the weather and the accessibility to labor, and also shipping all the material in is so expensive. So just to get started, it's usually around 1,000 a foot to do a site build. You can get as low as 500 a foot in Sun Valley, but that's really pushing it. And for prefab here with Connect Homes, it's 25 to 30% cheaper. Oh wow! And not to mention now with the interest rate environment, it's half the time, right? So we save a lot of money on the interest costs as well. Okay, perfect. And then my last question is, when it's finished, can we get a tour? Absolutely.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, we'd love to host you.
Perfect. Thanks for your time. I'm really looking forward to connecting with Jordan again this fall and checking out the finished product. It'll be by far the biggest prefab home I've ever toured. By far. That's it for me here at Connect Homes. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.